Hey guys, what's going on? Sitting here with the oil lord, Eric, who's a business partner of mine and does a lot of our marketing, well, all of the marketing. And we want to chat a little bit today about traveling and trading. So in this year, I don't even know how many places we traveled. How many places we traveled to?
Well, we started off with that tour, the U.S. tour, in March.
So we went on a U.S. tour in March. We went to Charleston, WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania. Which was a bucket list of mine.
The John Maxwell Leadership Conference. I was learning how to become a leader. It didn't work, but great conference. And we toured around and we've gone to a few different places. And then from there, holy crap, we've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, then we went to Europe.
We went to Europe, so we went to travel up and down Spain,
yeah,
which was pretty cool. And then here we are in Mexico. And
well, then we went on that five places in 3 weeks.
Where's that?
We went to the Dominican thing with Ben Newman's retreat.
Okay.
London conference. Kunal spoke at London Investor Show. Then he spoke at, or you spoke at, Inbound 2017.
Inbound Marketing Conference.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we have been all over the countries, all over the world the last year. A lot of it is speaking engagements. People hire us to do public speaking about marketing, stocks, of course, a couple entrepreneurship things, and then of course our own personal, booze cruises, where we're just traveling to have fun. But what I want to talk about was, obviously it always feels glamorous, like trading on the road and being in different countries. Give me some downsides. What were some of the things that you thought would be easy about traveling and trading and working that did not really play out the way you thought it would?
Well, number one, internet, 100%. So even when we were in Spain, like we had some internet issues. We were going to the cafe a lot. Now we're here in Tulum, Mexico. I mean, we're in this huge villa worth, we looked it up, it's worth $5 million. It's such a wicked pad, but when you're in our industry, online business and, trading, we need internet. We need, good internet all the time, and we just don't have it at this villa, so we constantly have to go to the cafe.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bummer. So, but you gotta, I guess, take the good with the bad.
So I would say, like, this place is our backyard, right? And
yeah,
so we get to hang out here all the time, but the Wi-Fi is awful. So like I've been personally trading, not even on Wi-Fi since I've been in Mexico. I've been doing it off my phone. And so I would say the internet is one of the more surprising things of being on the road all over the world. Is a lot of times you're in even developed places and you have issues with connectivity, and wherever you think it's fast, it might not be fast. A lot of spots in Spain, like you would think Barcelona is like a very metropolitan type of city, and it is. One of the most I've ever been to. Man, it's amazing. But the Wi-Fi there stunk. Like they had Wi-Fi everywhere, but everywhere it stunk. And so I thought that is interesting. So what are some of the things that people can do if they're on the road to combat the fact that they have bad Wi-Fi everywhere? On and off.
We brought that device. What was that device?
Jetpack.
Yeah, the jetpack. Just have it all figured out before you come here, because you don't want to be trying to figure it out when you get here. You may just need to grab a SIM card on wherever destination you're going to, but make sure that the actual device is going to work. And then we also heard something about like a satellite.
Yeah.
Probably have to do that next time. Look into that.
So Verizon has these jetpacks. They're called MiFi cards. They're free. I use them in the States all the time. They're like prepaid. They work really well, but when you're international, you can have Verizon turn on the international data, and it works pretty good. You'll be on 3G or sometimes 4G internet, which actually ends up being working out really well. It's been a lifesaver. The other thing I've been doing is like I use Sprint for my mobile, and we've turned on the hotspots. Sprint has a great international data plan, and like right now, like all these guys are hotspotting to my iPhone, and it's not like terribly fast. You'll get about 5 megabytes per second, but the stream is consistent, which is more than enough for me to trade. I've been doing the webinars and stuff on this, and it can get a little choppy at times. I've had some angry students at times be like, dude, your face is cutting out. but 95% of the time it's worked out pretty well. So kind of moral of the story on that is to plan ahead. Make sure you have a backup internet, which is either a hotspot in your phone, which you just call your phone company, or get a jetpack. You could also, a lot of people do, is when they land into a certain place, they go and get a SIM card and put it in their jetpack or phone. That is actually, from a local provider, that is actually probably a good idea, but we are way too lazy for that. We usually get to a town, and when we land, like, we're going straight out. So, like, us running around those errands at night looking for a SIM card, it's just not gonna happen. In a perfect world where we were organized and we could pull it off, that would probably be the one, but we are not those people. And so I think that's gonna be huge. The other part that's changed, so when I used to travel and trade last year, the year before, you know, you can log into a Wi-Fi as long as it's got a password, it's fairly secure. With the cryptocurrencies now and all the hacking and all that type of stuff, having really secure Wi-Fi is a lot more important than it used to be. You don't want to log into your Coinbase or your GDAX from some cafe that's got open internet. Your coins will end up missing. I've heard 3 of my students tell me that. Even some ones in the United States that told me they just logged on one day and their damn coins are missing. A lot of that comes from using unsecured Wi-Fi or bad security techniques. So I recommend traveling with the Trezor, having your own personal Wi-Fi. So even if the Wi-Fi is really slow, if I've got to log into my coin accounts, then I do it from my phone Wi-Fi, just so I know that that's mine. It's got a password on it that I make really hard to use. So that's added an additional, I guess, layer of complexity that we didn't have before. I would say the one other thing is if you are a blogger, a travel blogger, a photographer type, even if you have your own Wi-Fi, uploading like 4K videos and stuff to YouTube or whatever is a really heinous process.
It's gonna take some time.
So always look like in a town for almost every town has like specific places where they're either known for high-speed internet or that owner pays for it and they advertise like, we've got the fast high-speed internet. They may charge you to use it, or they will charge you like a working space or something like that. But I have noticed that every town does have that for the most part, if you're gonna do some big uploads.
Yeah.
So Eric, so we've got the Wi-Fi. Any other weird kind of things about traveling that ended up being a lot harder than you thought it was gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, things like getting over the border with, I mean, you brought, like, one interesting thing I was thinking about when we were coming here was on the form, it asked you, like, how much currency you're bringing in.
Yeah.
And, I mean, on that Trezor, I mean, obviously we got, you know, some coins on that Trezor that, you know, worth some good money. And I was curious on, you know, I don't even know, like, how we would fill that out. You know what I mean?
I know, I was very close to putting that Trezor right up my butt crack. Because, you know, you've got to declare $10,000 and we don't know yet, right? Is Bitcoin considered a currency or not a currency? And also individual countries may have their own rule.
Yeah.
And that Trezor, I mean, I was thinking about it. I'm like, it could fit, it might not fit, but I definitely don't want to hand it over.
Yeah, that thing definitely not.
I mean, that would be worth getting in a brawl at an airport with security and possibly going to jail over.
Oh yeah. It's definitely worth that.
So that is interesting. I would say, yeah, there are weird customs rules about drones everywhere too. So that's something always to look at. But I'd say one of the more annoying parts of travel that you can't really get around is that, man, it seems like more and more, it's just so easy to miss flights. Not on our end, but these damn airlines.
Yeah, 100%.
You miss one connector and then your whole day's shot.
Yeah.
So Eric, I think like every time he goes to Toronto, back to Toronto, he misses his flights.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'll be the next day, and I'm like, all right, work time. And he's like, I'll be there in 8 hours. And I'm like, what is going on? So that is always kind of something interesting. What do you like about traveling that you didn't expect to like? So obviously the lifestyle of like being in good weather, I think is, you know, something that's obvious to people. That's always the advantage. It's like here we are wearing tank tops in January. We've been wearing tank tops all year, which is awesome. You know, but what's a surprising aspect of traveling that you didn't think you'd like, but you like?
I would say just meeting new people. Like I enjoy, you know, I enjoy meeting people, but I also like my alone time, and I love to just kind of chill out, and you know, I have a close group of friends back home. But I mean, being able to go to these different countries, and I've met so many great people that, you know, have been Kunal students that we've met up with, or just people from going out. I mean, now I literally have friends, I mean, all over the world, and it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, I could just pick up a phone and I could be in Romania tomorrow because I met a friend that, you know, told me basically I could go there anytime. You know, Simon, who is actually here with us, has become one of my closest friends, and I think that's been probably the coolest part, is just being able to meet so many people and seeing what they're like just from everywhere around the world.
I do think that's kind of the interesting part, is that that always surprises me. We have students like all over the world, and they show up literally. Like when we went to London for the conference, we had like 6 or 7 people that were students of ours. Like, oh, you're in town, and they came out for lunch. And so we've met a lot of interesting people. But I would say that's actually my favorite part, is like we've met some characters on the road that are actually stock traders. You know, when we went to London, we met this awesome guy from Romania who's like, look, he's smoking these cigarettes the whole time. He's like, in Romania, guys like you want the sex, you get the sex. I hook it up. And we're like, the sex? What? Huh? How? Right? Whoa! And that, like, stuff like that was awesome. Like, you were like, he's like, anything you want in Romania, I got it for you. And then, like, you know, when we were in Spain, we met Nico, who was like the fucking Deacon of Death. He was like the coolest guy. He took us all over town. But anything we talked to him about, he'd be like, these fucking people are terrible. Right? And he was like, just like the Deacon. We're like, yeah, cheer up, man. He's like, cheer up. I'm from Belarus. We never smile. It's snow, 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 snow. And we eat beluga, 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 beluga. And
he was self-proclaimed positive, though. He thought he was the most positive guy there is.
And we loved him. He was probably one of my favorite guys that I've met. But we called him the Deacon of Death because he's just like, snow, snow, snow. Beluga, beluga, beluga. That's all we eat.
There was the guy in, was it Charlotte, that took us around, like, took us to see, like, Oprah's houses on that golf course.
The Robinson. So when we were in Charleston, he took us all around Kiawai Island, and this guy was jokes, man. He's like, we had never met him before. He picked us up, he cracked open a brew, and he's like, hey guys, let's go for a ride. And we're like, he's like, don't worry, man, we're on a golf cart community. I'm like, all right, well, go do what you do. And he took us town to town, and man, he was like became a really good friend of ours. Like, he was awesome. He showed us all like the fancy spots of old money Charleston, and I don't know about you, but I love seeing like those type of homes and stuff. It's kind of inspirational, but it's just cool like to be like, you know, you always think you made it because you're like sitting in a beach house, and then you see people with some real fucking money, and you're like, God man, hot damn. Like, look at these people.
100%, all about levels, right?
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. What about, what's the place that we've been to that you really liked, that you are surprised? Like, you know, you liked it so much, but you were thinking something else would be better.
London for sure. 100% London. Like, I mean, I thought London was just gonna be like Toronto, or, you know, just like kind of
New York.
A bigger city type of thing. You know, and you hear a lot of people, you know, talk about London, and, you know, not necessarily like it as much as some other places, but I like London better than the places that we went to in Spain, to be honest. I really loved it. I mean, I thought the city had so much class to it.
I thought London was really cool too. See, I was thinking of London as like a rainier New York City with more crooked teeth. That's kind of, I was thinking of like just New York City, but like English people just smoking cigs, you know, sitting at pubs, talking about the revolutionary days with, you you know, they ran the world and we kicked their asses and kicked them out of our country. That's what I thought England was going to be like. But man, it felt like home. Like, we met a lot of friends. I went to a lot of cool places. Simon Jones, one of my mentoring students, took us out. We got shamasted one day and really rolled around town quite a bit. That was pretty cool. And then speaking at the Investors Conference was cool. So give me this. What was the scariest moment out of any of our travels? Because we've had some odd things happen.
That's a good question.
I mean, we've been lost. We've lost things. We've been almost drugged. All sorts of lost phones, computers, ourselves, our dignity.
I mean, okay, I definitely know the answer to this. So let me paint the picture for you. So this is the first day we get to Spain. First of all, we were supposed to arrive in Spain the same day. He gets to the airport, realizes his passport is expired. So I get there, whatever, I get there by myself. It's all good, you know, we got a cool place right in Gothic Quarter. He gets there the next day, we go out right away. We got two guys with us, Henrik, one of our students. Shout out to Henrik, he's the man. So he came, and Nico met up with us. All four of us, we go out, we had a crazy night. We ended up going to 2 clubs, bottle service at both clubs, smashed out of our minds. We end up splitting up somehow. I'm wasted, I get back to our house. I wake up in the morning, and I go look in this guy's room, and he's not there. So I am in pure panic mode. I wake up Henrik, I call Nico, I'm like, yo, where's Kunal? Like, what the hell happened? So we basically spent the whole day looking for this guy. Maybe probably like 6-7 hours later, we find him, and he's just like all like messed up. He ended up like sleeping at a hotel, but was like in an alleyway for like hours, got robbed. So that was by far the scariest moment. I had like his family calling me.
There's a reason I don't leave the house much. If I go out, I go. No, it's just blind luck. I get there, I mean, I had a really long flight and, you know, I had a passport issue. So we got there, we went to a party. All these guys went home. I want to hang out. So then I go home a little bit later, and along the way, I don't know if there's pickpockets galore in Barcelona, and I was just warned, like, don't keep your iPhone hanging out. And lo and behold, I'm wandering the streets of the Gothic Quarter. There's so much action, but everybody's like, it's crowded, everybody's rubbing up on you, and you're like, woo, girls! Like, everybody's just so close by. So I got pickpocketed for my cell phone. So I didn't have my cell phone, and I didn't have our address, because in the Gothic Quarter, it's like a lot of old alleyways. I mean, it looks like just the days of Columbus over there. It's beautiful. I love the architecture there. But it's impossible to find your apartment if you haven't been to there like a bunch of times. I just got there that day. So I had no address. And then I don't have, because Eric is Canadian, you know, I don't have all these phone codes and all of that stuff, right? I mean, these days, like, I memorize, you know, like my mom's phone number, who I'm not gonna call at, you know, 5 a.m. So I don't got anybody's phone number. So I'm like wandering the streets. Then I'm like hanging out with these people, trying to bum a beer. And I got robbed. And then I ended up wandering the streets the next day into the afternoon. I swear I went to like 15 different pubs, talked to 50 different people, 10 different cops, told them my story. I've been robbed, lost my phone, I don't got any money. And everybody's like, yeah, like use the payphone. And it just happened to be like one Australian guy. I caught him drinking beer. I'm like, man, that guy looks like he speaks English and he'll forgive me for using his phone. And then finally I was able to get a hold of him. I texted my buddies. I still don't know Eric's phone number. I texted my buddy Kevin. Code red. You've got 3 minutes to get a hold of Eric at this number before this guy takes his phone back. And then thank God, the butt dog, my childhood best friend, got a hold of Eric, and I got the address, and I was able to find my way. But it ended up being like 6 p.m. the next day. I wandered around literally all day, all night, like bumming beers off people, like making friends. It's like 2 p.m. I've got no money, no phone, no ID, like nothing. And I'm like, well, shit, the only way I can keep going is just keep bumming beers off people hanging out. So I met like all these people on the streets, and people were buying me beers. I was just telling stories. I'm like, I will sing for money, do whatever. So I think that was probably one of the more interesting moments, because it seems like I get myself in this type of issues all the time, and so I've got to be really careful, because I don't really give a shit, right? Like if I go out, I'm like, oh, I lost my phone, whatever. You lose your money, you'll figure it out. In my life, I've always just been like, I'll figure it out. And I think sometimes...
Which we do. Yeah.
I think sometimes I may take that too literally. It'll all work itself out. Because man, people, when I came back to the place, like everybody looked like they had seen ghosts. They're like, man, I was about 2 minutes away from making the call. And I'm like, what call? He's like, the call. The emergency call. And I'm like...
We debated for a while.
I'm like, what call? What are you guys talking about? I think that is pretty important. So I guess really the moral of all this is really take care of Wi-Fi. There will be spots that are interesting that you don't really think are going to be interesting. Spots that you think are going to be epic, they're not always epic.
Yeah.
In Spain, my favorite spot was Malaga, which pretty much everybody in Spain said is like, not that cool. Like Barcelona and Madrid are the hot spots. And Malaga ended up being my favorite out of everything I saw in Spain. And yeah, London, I never had a will or an inkling to ever go to London, because I'm like, well, I'm from the Midwest. Like, it probably is like Chicago.
Yeah.
And London ended up being so epic. And so give me a rundown of what you think about Tulum.
Yeah.
Pretty cool place.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I mean, the big thing I thought about, all you hear about Mexico, you hear, it's going to be dangerous, or you hear all this stuff on the news, but actually Tulum has been probably the safest place I've ever been to. I mean, it's full of hippies who are like the friendliest people. We invited like 20, 30 people to the house for like this big party we had. Not one thing was broken, just one glass, which was pretty epic. We woke up, whole place was cleaned. I mean, we were partying outside. We had a DJ, we were making a bunch of noise, so the neighbors, kind of wanted us to quiet down. So we moved the party from outside to inside the house, moved all the furniture, and nothing was broken. It was crazy.
It is. It's a really cool, beautiful beach over here, and then they have like a cute little downtown that's full of just all these little bars and restaurants that are like half outside, half inside, that really incorporate like the beach and nature into the setting. I think that's really the interesting part of this whole Tulum. Like even our area, this beach, has like full-grown trees and bushes coming out of the beach. They made sure to really keep a lot of the original landscape, and it shows in a lot of the architecture and the scenic stuff. So Tulum is awesome. You get the crystal green water, but there's also like a really good nightlife. They got a lot of good music and parties. And then yeah, there's a lot of hipstery types, I guess. So a little bit different than us. We're like bros, but we get along with hipsters. Everybody gets along with hipsters and yogis. So I think that's been really cool. People invite you places. So if you go alone, it's easy to make friends. Like you can walk the beach and just make friends. Like we had this party over here. We met one DJ guy and a couple girls. Said to bring your friends, and before we know, we had 1 million friends, and it took like no time. I mean, they didn't know if we had a good house or a bad house or what we do for a living. We were just making friends, like chit-chatting with people, sharing beers, and I think that's been really cool. What about work? So how do you get any work done when you're traveling like this?
Yeah.
Because that's really important for me. I mean, I have to get twice as much done as the next person, otherwise, my business suffers. So I still have to get twice as much done, but I still want to get a little bit of sun once in a while and, be able to do stuff. So how do you get work done while simultaneously fulfilling the urge to sightsee and really take in what a town has?
Yeah. I mean, number one, you definitely have to like have some planning involved in your trip. You have to set aside some time to get work done. If you need internet, you got to find that cafe right away that is your go-to place for good internet. You got to go there and set aside some hours during the day to get work done. Maybe you set aside a day or two or a couple of days where you're just getting work done, and the rest of the days you're doing sightseeing. Another thing I'd say is just before you go, know that you're just not going to get as much work done if you were at home in your office doing your thing. It's just not going to happen because you're doing more stuff when you're away traveling, which is good, right? I mean, you're growing yourself as opposed to your workload.
I think the big thing to do is like what we always do is we never go anywhere for just a week. Like we try to stay like whatever amount of time we think we would need to like have a vacation, we add ×3. So we were thinking 1 week, we go 20 days. That way you can really just take your time. So like there are days I don't leave this property for multiple days at a time because the property's awesome. It's got a pool, it's got a beach. I can do my work. I bring my iPad and my laptop everywhere, and then that's my day. But like if we want to sightsee and stuff like that, we basically, rather than cramming like an activity every single day, we do it like once a week. That way I can still teach class and trade and do stuff. So rather than saying, okay, this day we do this day do that, we make no plans in terms of activities. Just whichever day it's free, it's like, okay, let's hire a tour guide or let's go hop in the car and just go. But there's not the pressure of like, how am I gonna work because I've got all these damn activities scheduled? Well, no, like I'm here to work and then the activities I'll do around my own time, right? And so like, for me, I plan no more than 2 things basically a week. That's the max. Every other day, I'm doing the same thing that I would be doing if I was home in Destin. I don't change much. And
just at a different location.
Yeah, the main thing we do that's a little bit different than at home is we go usually to a nice dinner every day. We have some wine, and then, you know, half the people will go out, half the people come back and get to work. And then, you know, we'll pick and choose like the nights where we really get loose. For me, I gotta always watch this up because I have this tendency to want to be the life of the party, and to be the life of the party requires a lot of energy, and so I gotta limit myself to 1 time a week, maybe 2, but I gotta be real careful with that, otherwise I'll just be never getting anything done. But I think that's one of the good things about working and traveling is you don't have to go for a week and feel pressured about, oh, I'm on vacation, you know, relax. No, there is no relax. You got to do what you got to do, and then, you know, you relax when you can relax. But ideally, you relax and do your work at the same time, right? You just kind of lay down at the computer and do a little this. I don't trade while I'm laying down, but I'm talking about like more like my answering my emails or doing customer service, like those type of things. I'll usually just sit in the hammock or over here and get those type of things done. You know, my trading, I have to be really routine focused. I would say the one really important thing if you do a lot of vacationing and traveling is get up really early every day. You know, because like if you catch like in Tulum, if you get up early, like if I'll get up at like 6:30 and I'll get some sun. I mean, the market doesn't open till 9:30. I've got hours to like walk the beach. I go and have a breakfast. I take my time. I have a coffee. I sit out here. I fiddle with my phone. I check my Tinder. Like I do all that stuff. And so it's like I get a little bit of that kind of just outdoor activity and just like a vacationing feel before I even start working.
Yeah.
And as traders, I think the main thing as traders to really do is focus your efforts. Just trade till about noon. And that's perfect. You shouldn't be trading all day anyways. Trade till about noon and then take those afternoon hours off to do like the things that you want to do. And then I like to come back at night and work, you know. So for me, it's like I'm outside in the morning, I trade, then I take that afternoon to go do what I got to do. Then I come back for my second shift. What I mean by second shift is my teaching my class, running my business, all that type of stuff. Around 10, we go out and get ourselves a nice dinner, and then we'll see where that takes us. If not, we just come back home and then I kind of repeat the process. So I like that middle area. I think that's really important to kind of keep that daytime for getting your sun and having a little fun. And what that also does, you know, if you're wandering about during the day, you're kind of a little bit pooped. You don't want to go out as much because you're like, man, I was in the sun all day. I swam 3 miles. I went kayaking for 2 hours. Like, I don't really feel like going out. I think that's one of the best parts. If you can tire yourself out, it'll keep you out of a lot of trouble.
And I mean, another thing too is, I mean, we film a lot just because, you know, we post a lot of videos for YouTube and different things like that. If that's not what you do, I would still get some sort of camera, you know, a simple GoPro or something simple. And when you go out, you know, take videos, because I mean, for me, like when I look back and all the stuff that we've done, I mean, it makes me smile. It's just such good memories. So I would definitely recommend, you know, do some video while you're away as well.
Yeah, very true. Remember this, that everybody has a story to tell, you know, and so tell your story. You'd be surprised at like what good can come out of it sometimes that's like a unintended consequence. You know, a lot of people that you see that have like really interesting YouTube channels or Instagrams or whatever, a lot of times they were just doing what they do and things just kind of pick up, right? Or like catch on. You never know, but I think a lot of people, everybody has a story to tell, and what we think is interesting, oftentimes other things are interesting, you know, to other people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What we think is classically interesting is not really what is hot. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, that is interesting. It's always something different with a twist, you know? And so, like, I would always try it out. If not for your own memories, just to kind of share what you have with the world, and whether you make money from it or not, obviously it's a lot better if you make money from it, but, you know, you just try it out. I think that's, you know, I think the last thing that has hit me over the years, I'm sure you felt it too, is that, you know, where we come from in our homes is, it's like the best spots in the world.
Yeah.
You know, you travel and there's danger, right? Like we were in Barcelona, there's a fucking terrorist attack 2 blocks from where we were living.
Yeah.
You know, we were staying in the Gothic Quarter, and the terrorist attack was right in Las Ramblas. My sisters were rolling through there that day, and it's like, you know, you're like just in a full-blown panic. And so much other stuff. You know, you go to Costa Rica or Mexico, they're beautiful areas, but you also see a lot of the poverty, and you see like really happy people and families, but that don't have a lot.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think, like, fuck, like, look how happy these people are, and I mean, they're just like all packed in one house and just enjoying their family dinner, and you really start to kind of think about it. But that's one of the things I do get about traveling, is that, man, there is no better place in the world than the good old United States of America, home of the brave, the protectors of the truth, the defenders of freedom.
I prefer Canada, but United States.
Defenders of freedom. There's no better place on earth.
Fair enough. I go to the States a lot. I love it there. I'm not going to say it.
I just bullied him into saying that. You guys see that? He loves Canada.
He never comes to Canada. I don't know why.
Hey, listen, man. They have very stringent rules on who they let over there. They don't have open borders. All right, guys. It's been fun, but then, by the way, just leave us any comments, or where, if you guys have any ideas of where we should travel to next with our crew. We got our marketing crew back there and our sales guys, and man, we're thinking about our next adventure already, or what we should be doing, and we're always looking for something interesting. You know, we've been doing this kind of workcation thing, and we're thinking about maybe changing it up a little bit. So if you guys got a cool idea, man, I'd love to know. And if you're in a cool spot and you'll have us over, that'd be even better. We don't mind sleeping on floors, on sleeping bags, and mats. We'll do whatever as long as you got Wi-Fi. So you let us know, guys. Take care.